Welcome to more Gran Turismo Sports Specialtatin. Today we're featuring Group B's at BB Speedway. Apparently somebody's already been dirty, and I'm starting right in front of that driver. I'll try to be positive. I mean, nothing really negative has happened to me yet. Actually, as of now, my driver rating is slightly higher than when I started these races, so that's a thing. Is it a good thing? Well, it all depends on this race, because if I finish second, it will go down, because that's not the strongest field in the world. I mean, nothing against these drivers, they can't help who they're paired with, really, but, yeah, I've faced stronger fields before. But I do have the lead, and I know how to choose the start, go to 50-50 power distribution at the very beginning, and then change to 30-70, 35-65, whatever I'm feeling, because that's what's better around the turns. And it's not going bad. I mean, I'm already not in the lead, but I did that to avoid a penalty. I hope third does the same thing. Yeah, hey, there you go. People actually backed off to avoid penalties. Hallelujah. That doesn't really mean too much to begin with. And I had the slight pause there because I figured third was going to do something to make me retract the previous statement, but they didn't. But again, I will keep the other previous statement of it doesn't matter all that much yet because it's early. Everybody probably will be racing somewhat nicer earlier just because, well, it's earlier. Which me included, but I would like to see if I can at least try to get the lead here because maybe, just maybe, I can run away. Maybe. I don't know, folks. We'll see. Draft is overpowered, like a lot of the times it is in this game. But these ain't the worst cars for it. But this is one of the worst tracks for it. Because you can pretty much dive bomb into turn one if you have enough draft. I'll try to avoid that because of penalties, but there isn't all that much I can do at times either, so we'll see, folks. As of now, though, there may be something that I actually can do because I got a decent amount of momentum, but not a crazy run where it's going to be a dive bomb, so I'll try something here. And that didn't really work. I'm almost going to have to dive bomb, really, because on this track, the bottom isn't even really the preferred line when it's too wide going into the first turn. Because the top, you get to run more banking. You really ain't going to get to dive bomb on the top either, because in order to do the draft run, you're pretty much going to have to pull to the inside. I've never really seen anyone prefer to go to the inside there, and then you go to the outside to try to make the pass. I think everyone knows the outside line is the preferred line going into turn one. And really, unless somebody messes up, that's about the only place to pass on this track. Unless you decide to use your bumper. So far, everybody's actually been really clean, though. Like, there hasn't been any penalties, there hasn't been any wrecks. There hasn't even really been any contact that I've seen, at least. The only three drivers I've really seen are the three that y'all have seen as well. I wasn't really focusing on that many of the other drivers this race because, as I said, it ain't the dangest pack in the world. But they could come into play later in the race if we actually keep on battling, clean or not. It's because in order to stay quote-unquote clean with this penalty system, you basically can't race fast whatsoever, or else you're going to risk a penalty. And then, well, if you do actually try to race fast and clean, it will be a penalty, and then that in of itself will have the other drivers catch up. So with this penalty system, it's pretty much a lose-lose situation, but anyway, I'm starting to be not as positive now. Back to the positively, I got a positively good run on the leader, I guess. I'm pretty much right where I should be. I'm just far back enough where I can get some draft, but I am close enough where I can actually use the draft to see if I can make a move here. Maybe. That may have been a slight bit of blocking there, but it is still somewhat early. It's beyond the halfway point, but not by too much, really. To be honest, at this track, if I'm here even on the last lap, I still have kinda have a chance. this is one of those tracks where it may actually be advantageous when everybody's racing sort of kind of even to actually be in second place coming to the last lap. But I sort of kinda still would rather be in first, just because in theory I am the fastest one here because I qualified first. Now granted, it'd be the same no matter what if second passes first at the beginning and first can't get around. But by the time this event ended, I was quite literally top 5 in the entire world at BB Speedway, which arguably is probably the most populated track in terms of qualifying times because it's up there for quickest laps. That, Northern Isle, but it seems like BB gets just as much as Northern Isle. I guess just because Northern Isle is boring, sort of, kind of, in comparison to this. Because this has left turns and right turns, so that's cool. And it's even cooler that I actually am in the lead now. Second place can do the same thing that I did on that driver before, but at least I'm aware of it now. I mean, that driver was aware of it too, but nonetheless, I still got it done. So unless that driver pretty much dive bombs, I ain't gonna let that happen. Because, well, as I said, anything can happen even down to the very last lap, but that was a dive bomb. Jiminy Cricket, that really was a dive bomb, because you see the car just go up there right in front of mine. Like, when I go into that turn, I pretty much just leave the top open to avoid penalties. That was not at all leaving the top open. Nobody got penalties there, but this is probably going to be a penalty. There's no way around that. Someone here is going to get a penalty, and there's probably no way to... See? I'm right. First didn't deserve a penalty there, but first got a penalty there for no reason whatsoever. That was quite literally perfect driving by all of us to avoid a wreck there when we were literally bumper to bumper to bumper, and someone still got a penalty out of that. I ain't complaining because it's not me, but still, that just proves how stupid the penalty system is. And y'all saw it right in front of your eyes there. But anyway, this is still me being positive because I don't have the penalty. First, rightfully so, this would probably be pretty negative right now. But that doesn't mean too much because first can also force a penalty. First is sort of the Pied Piper in terms of, I mean, the race in general is first, but also in dictating penalties. Because really, a brake check may be a penalty for first as well, but almost definitely will be a penalty for second. And with third being right there as well, that could just cause third to downright wreck. Third tries to sweep away from the first two getting penalties. Third wreck, so therefore, all in all, it'd benefit the first place driver the most. Because the first place driver may get momentum from getting bumped, and second losing momentum from being the bumpy. So that may happen. Or first may do nothing, and it's gonna come down to crazy finish. I mean, granted, that's better in some ways, but in other ways, well, I mean, y'all see third there too. Third is now right on my bumper, and I'm going to have to try to get to right on first bumper. I don't really have to get around because first has a penalty. With a third right on my bumper, that means if first decides to do anything, we're all screwed. Granted, I ain't all that close to first, but that's sort of on purpose, just because I don't want first to do anything stupid, because in theory, I've won the race. Even the 0.01 second penalty means I win right now, because PD doesn't know how to round. So there we have it, folks. For Jiminy Cricket's sakes. Well then, apparently penalties can be deleted stupidly easy now. Granted, that was a stupid penalty to begin with, but come on now. That driver literally lost like 20 miles an hour, probably 100 feet away from the finish line, and deleted the entirety of at least a 1 second penalty. Or at least what would have counted as a 1 second penalty, because PD doesn't know how to round. It's hard for me to be all that positive for this race, just because first was sort of kind of able to manipulate all of the things to win. Dive bomb in a way which doesn't give him a penalty, but then still when a penalty does get given to him for no good reason, still is able to delete the penalty, because even that's changed now. But nonetheless, there was no big wrecks, and this was by far the cleanest race I've ever had here. And compared to the video that previously was shown on the channel before this, was completely different in all the ways. So, I guess that's worth a yeehaw, but probably not all that much more enthusiastic than just yeehaw. But at least by the time I ended these races, I had a net gain of 46. Driver rating, 46 out of 66,000. Yeehaw! Top 5 in the world, 46. It's a gain, though. It's a gain.